Hello again, punters, and welcome back to another episode of The Snapshot. I'm Ryan Cook. Tom Rockliff joins me like he does every week. Tommy, I know you were pretty keen on a futures market right back at the start of the year, and that was any player to have 50 disposals throughout the course of the season. You loved it. I think it was paying 9-1 at that time, and geez, you went close on the weekend. Bailey Dale, are you still riding this one?
Yeah, well, I said to the punters out there, this is, I think, as good value as you're going to get, and it was a Ned special, and call to arms to get the special back up because it's halfway through the year. I wonder what the odds would be for someone to have 50 now. It'd be probably, you'd have to go up, wouldn't it?
I'd say so, yeah.
It'd have to be about 15-1. So if the bookies want to put it up this week as a little special, I'd be encouraging them to do it. But it's alive the whole season, and it's 9-1, and you're never out of it. And then we've seen Bailey Dale certainly wasn't on my top five to get it
Not
done.
your top 500.
But he 39 at three-quarter time and then had his quietest quarter in there, ends with 49 and potentially should have got it if a handball. But I think it's still alive. I think someone will do it. And we spoke about it. You get the kick-ins now. So it may be a half-back. It may be a Zorko or someone like that takes a lot of kick-ins. If a team's inaccurate throughout the day, they get an extra 15. Away you go.
You're thinking maybe Clayton Oliver, who's been playing very well the last couple of weeks. He gets close. Caleb Sarong, those would have to be in your top five.
Dacos, if Dacos... Like, I think Brisbane didn't tag him. He was 23 maybe at halftime or something a couple of weeks ago. So there is opportunities. Zach Merritt, it's a big one. It's the big stat getters that work their ring off and continue just to turn up. Lockie Neal can potentially do it. We've seen him go pretty close in the past. So I think there's enough options out there. The problem being that coaches, if they've had 30 at halftime, the coaches will send someone to them. But so that's why a halfback's a good chance. Like Bailey Dale, they want it in his hands. They want him to run and carry. So I think the futures market there is alive and well.
That's the beauty of that bet. There's so many players that could do it. So, we'll talk to the Neds bookie, see if we can
get them to open it back up.
Yeah.
And see what I think, because it has to have gone up because you've got almost half the season. No one's done it yet. Yes, we've gone close, but maybe $12 to $15, I would have thought.
No one, I don't want to say Bailey Dale's not of note, but no one that we expected. So that's why the odds would increase.
Yeah, shift a bit.
Yeah. Let's talk about another market, one that we haven't spoken about much at all this year, and that's the wooden spoon or the least wins market on Neds. I want you to tell me after West Coast won on Sunday against St Kilda what you think the odds are, and then I'll read them out to you.
West Coast would have to be that'd have to be $1.20 maybe at rare, maybe even shorter.
You're close.
I don't think they'll go much higher than that, and then probably Richmond. I feel like there's more upside to North Melbourne in the back half of the year to win games of footy. So I'd go Richmond second at maybe $1.80, probably a bit more, maybe $2.10, and then North Melbourne at say $3.50. You
got the order correct. The odds are a little bit off though. So West Coast $1.45, Richmond $4.30, and then you can take $5 for North.
Oh, I was way off.
Yeah, entertaining any of those two at a bit of value?
Well, yeah, add value. It's worth a couple of bucks on Richmond and potentially North, because all that's got to happen is a couple of injuries to them. West Coast, what are they? They're 4
points, only one win.
So North have only won the 2 games because it's least wins, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they've had that draw. Richmond are 3. So I don't think anyone else is in the market. I think Port Adelaide will win more games on the way home. Melbourne as well, St Kilda. So it's down to those 3, but it's worth a couple of bucks on them, I would have thought, just in case.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Another short market, and that is the Gold Coast Suns into $1.12 to make top 8 after beating Hawthorn last Thursday. Are you locking in the Suns to play finals?
Well, yes. I have them on top of the ladder. So if they're obviously got that game to go, I think they beat Essendon at home. Their percentage is the best in the competition, or just behind the Western Bulldogs now, actually. So they're on a bit of a run, the Dogs, but it's going to be hard for them to miss. If they miss finals, I don't know what we do with the Gold Coast Suns. This sort of happened last year, though. After this time, they came back from Darwin and coughed up games. They need a win this weekend, and there's no reason why they shouldn't. They've got St Kilda at Marvel Stadium. Marvel Stadium's been an issue for them. They got beaten by Richmond a few weeks ago. So Dimmer doesn't like going there. He didn't like going there when he was in Richmond. He doesn't like going there at the Suns. They need to win this game of footy. They win this one, it cements, I think, their top 8 position.
I guess the reason I ask you, though, is because they still have some big games coming up against top 8 competition. They still got Collingwood to come, Geelong, Brisbane again in the Q Clash, and they got GWS twice. So it's not an easy run home by any stretch. So
well, they've probably had the softest draw in the competition, but they are a different team. They're hard to beat on their home deck, which they haven't played a lot of games there so far this season. So they'll have a fair few on the way home. But as you said, it's tougher teams.
Absolutely. Let's look ahead to Thursday night. We've got the Cats taking on the Dogs at the Cattery. Close to even money on offer here. $1.85 for Geelong, probably without Dangerfield, I'd say. And then the Dogs $1.95. How big is Danger's absence? Obviously, it goes without saying. He's a once-in-a-generation player, but are you thinking the Dogs have the advantage here without him?
Yeah, I think so. I think you'd nearly lean into the Western Bulldogs to get that done. Geelong, I mean, they did what they wanted in the second half. Port Adelaide almost put the queue in the rack. But the Dogs are up and about. They're playing some sensational footy. Bontempelli back in there. I think Bailey Dale off half back. I don't think Geelong will allow him to run around and do that again on the weekend. But it's probably the game of the weekend. Yep. And I think value is with the Dogs. I think they probably win that game of footy. I know Geelong aren't easy to beat down there, but Dangerfield not being there, it makes it a bit tougher for them. I
tend to agree with you. It'll be interesting to see how the Dogs go with Waitman now done for the rest of the year. But they've already shown that they have options up forward, so they look like a genuine premiership contender. Let's jump into the multi. Last week, 2 from 4. Geez, we were, I don't know, Giants at the line, Brisbane at the line. Probably the 2 legs we felt the best about, and we couldn't get it done.
The 2 that we would have, definitely felt best about. I thought they'd get it done. The Giants, you can't catch them. They're up clearly. And down. No, there's not. Their best is as good as anyone, and their worst is clearly as bad as anyone. So, they're not making it easy for punters out there, that's for sure.
We sound a bit deflated, so we need to lift it.
We need a lift.
What do you got for me?
We need a lift. I'm going to go against my old mob. I'm going to take Fremantle at the line. I don't have any confidence going in, but Monday it's tough. We don't have all the markets open to us.
Yes.
So the players' markets aren't open yet. But Fremantle minus 18.5. I think they'll beat Port Adelaide, beat them convincingly on their home deck. And then on Sunday, I think it is Melbourne. I just see them as value at 205, what they were able to do against Brisbane on the weekend. Maybe they got up and about for it, but Sydney are going. They're not going all that well. So I think Melbourne at the MCG get it done.
Like that a lot. I'm going to break the golden rule, and that's backing against your team. I'm going to take the Brisbane Lions to cover plus 8.5 against the Hawks. Bogey team for Brisbane, I know, at the MCG as well, but the Lions are just a good bounce back bet. So as you said, it's a tricky round, and it's hard to sort of feel good about any of these, to be honest. But Brisbane at the line, and then I'm going to throw in North Melbourne to cover. Alternate line, plus 43.5 under the roof against Collingwood at Marvel.
Oh.
How do you feel about that? Not good?
No, I don't. I hope we get it, because it'd be an all-time. But putting North Melbourne, West Coast, and Richmond in, but there's a few. I mean, we can't go any worse than we've been going.
No.
We went back to back earlier in the year, but I mean, you're a braver man than me.
Got to be brave mid-season.
There'd be a bit of juice about this, though, I would have thought.
$11.84.
Yeah,
good juice.
Good juice. I think. Yeah, we might nail that, but 43. Well, they should have won last year, though, North Melbourne.
That's it.
So maybe you're onto something.
We'll see.
Not a good bet.
They've been kind to us in the past, so fingers crossed. Thank you, Rocky. We'll do it again next week.
Good on you, Ryan.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website